alaikum and welcome everyone to Eid with Laknadha, our special Eid program. We at Laknadha would like to wish you all, our viewers, an Eid Mubarak. So stay tuned on Eid with Laknadha.
Lowapura Laknadha Radio.
Tambapani, truly Sri Lankan.
On this Eid, Laknadha has had the pleasure of having Mr. Rizwan Slamath, Mr. Riza Muhammed, and Mr. Hafi Ghouse here with us today on Eid with Laknadha program. We are here to discuss the importance and the virtues of this holy month of Ramadan. Welcome, gentlemen. It is so great to have you all here with us today. Eid Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. We thank Laknadha for giving us this great opportunity to share our thoughts on both Ramadan and Eid. Hope we will be able to shed some light on the rituals we practice during both these occasions, during the holy month and for the Eid. And once again, great opportunity for us to share our thoughts. Thank you so much.
Eid Mubarak to all our viewers. Firstly, I also like to thanking Laknadha team for giving us this opportunity. Actually, this is the first kind of such program I'm attending, so I'm excited to be part of this program. Thank you.
Eid Mubarak to everyone in the U.A.E. and across the globe, and we are excited to be part of this program and hope we'll have a interesting discussion on Eid and Ramadan.
Of course. So to start off our discussion, when speaking of the holy month of Ramadan, the first thing that would come to our minds is the process of fasting that Muslims have to go through every day for an entire month. So what is the importance and the purpose of fasting during this holy month?
You asked a very, very pertinent question. To begin with, there are 5 pillars in Islam. Saum, or the fasting, is the third pillar of Islam. In the Holy Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, chapter number 2, verse 183, fasting has been prescribed to you as they were prescribed to those who before you, to make you become more pious. This is the most important aspect of the fasting. Fasting has been prescribed to make you more pious. And Allah ta'ala promises, whosoever fast with the belief and hope in the rewards, all their previous sins will be forgiven. And also the rewards we receive even for a minute thing or a major thing is in multiple folds during this month. So every act of Ramadan is a spiritual thing. For an example, it's a spiritual thing to cleanse your heart, mind, body and the soul. So and most importantly, to renew your faith and to become more closer to your Creator. So be it may your early morning meal, your iftar, your prayers during the night, okay, and also the recitation of the Quran, all these are considered as act of worship during this holy month. We fast from dawn to dusk. Within this period, we empathize with the difficulty of the poor. So we will know exactly what a poor person goes through when he is hungry. So what does it mean? It encourages and it prompts us to become more charitable. For an example, if someone with hunger, I will like mata badagini, they will not thank twice. We will, because we know we have gone through the same thing. So, and also we can share this with, we have, and as far as we are blessed. It's our duty to help the less fortunate. And most importantly, a person who is fasting at the time of breaking fast or the iftar, the joy you have feeling, you see, you have fulfilled your duty towards the God, you have been a pious Muslim from dawn to dusk, and now it has come to break fast. With the Maghrib Azan, that means when the call for prayer for the Maghrib evening prayer, we break fast, and the joy a person who is fasting is getting, it is completely matchless. That we have lived, spent some time, 14 hours, 15 hours, without any negative elements. And before we go on further, last but not least, I had to mention something very important. That is, before someone start fasting the month of Ramadan, fasting, we should have, if you have any misunderstanding with any of your kith and kin, your friends, somebody, I have made something wrong and he would have I would have hurt his feeling. And we should go and apologize. And any religion say, even in the Buddhism it says, Vaire and Vaire no sanside. Here we put it into practice. We go and say, I am very sorry. Even I am wrong, he is wrong and I am right. Doesn't matter. We go, apologize, make up, and we enter the month with a clean heart. So overall, in brief, the Ramadan will make you a more pious person.
Indeed, Mr. Ghouse. And as you did mention, the fasting period during the holy month of Ramadan would last up to 14 to 16 hours a day. How does an average person abstain from food and water for such long hours, and how would you help yourself get through a long fasting period?
That's an interesting point you're raising, and the curiosity that you're showing, I don't blame you for it, because we all have the same curiosity about this fasting and how to sustain yourself for such a long time. Sometimes it's also surprising to see small kids in our families who are just 8, 9, 10 years old children. They are observing fasting, not eating, drinking anything for the whole day. And not only that, we also have to think about these working moms at home. Sometimes these ladies especially, they are spending a lot of time in their kitchen, don't eat anything. Not just them, we also have to think about these laborers who are working outside in the hot sun for 13, 14 hours. And nowadays, we are even seeing international sports stars who are playing soccer, cricket matches while fasting. So it is an interesting point that you raised. How do we do it? On a lighter note of it, even ourselves, if you talk to us 2-3 days before Ramadan, we are wondering how are we going to go through this 12 to 14 hours of fasting. But that anxiety is there even within ourselves. But when it comes to the month of Ramadan, on the day of Ramadan, first day, we have the intention. Because of when you have that proper intention, we go through it, even to our own surprise. Because I think it is the mind that plays the big game here, because you have a strong mind, you want to fulfill your religious requirement for the sake of Allah, God. So that kind of gives you the strength to do it. Also, it is also a life lesson, if you wake up at suhoor time, that's in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, if you think, how am I going to go through this day without food and drinks? You will not be, you might even faint, how can I do it? But I think it's the life lesson that you need to take one step at a time. You have to observe fasting, and then you have to have proper intention you know you're doing it for a bigger reward from God, that kind of takes you through the whole day. And believe it or not, you know, like earlier Mr. Ghouse was saying, the enjoyment and the accomplishment that you feel at the time of iftar, the breaking fast, I mean, that's like a real cup, you know, you can go for. So I think that kind of helps us go through it. Again, your curiosity, sometimes even we go through the same thing. How can I do it? And there are people in places like UK, if you're fasting in summer in the UK, the fasting goes on for about 17 hours. There are also certain parts in the world that fasting will go for about 21 hours.
Right, because their sunlight is a little
Exactly,
bit,
exactly. So it is a kind of a miracle, if we can say it. But the good thing is we all enjoy it, including our small younger folks. We enjoy it.
Of course, Mr. Riza. And it is clear that the rituals that are practiced during the holy month of Ramadan has shaped people's lives for the better. So what impact does Ramadan and these rituals and traditions have on your day-to-day lives?
This is a very pertinent question. What happens is the month of Ramadan increases one's piety and reconnect with your Lord in a more strong way. And Ramadan promotes patience, perseverance, sharing and caring. Caring and sharing plays a vital role in this holy month of Ramadan. We always take care of the downtrodden or care of the less fortunate people. So it's a very plays a vital role. Patience is something that everyone undergoes during the month of Ramadan, whether I say or not. It's a patience. Ivasima, we have Pragunakarana Masya Kela Kyana Pulang Ramadan Masya. Religion pays importance to relations with your kith and kin, neighbors, friends. Most importantly, this month of Ramadan increases your connection with your God in many folds, because everything you do is for the sake of God. I am giving charity, whether I am giving something, food for somebody, I am fasting, I am not going to look at unwanted things, I am not going to speak something bad. All I am doing it for the sake of God. So our connection with the God increases in many folds. Let's take the fasting in a more broader way. Everyone thinks that fasting is you are not having any food or drink from dawn to dusk. No, it's more than that. When you fast, your eyes, your entire body fasts. All the organs fast. Eyes, mouth, ears, hands, everything fast. Let's see, how is your eyes going to fast? From your eyes, you are not going to look at anything evil. You are not going to see anything evil. You protect your eyes from looking at things that you don't want to see. I don't have to emphasize on that. In the meantime, how does your mouth fast? We are not going to do lies, no backbiting, right? No slander, no using harsh words. Even someone uses a harsh word on you, this can happen on a day-to-day basis. We just say, we are fasting, I am very sorry, I am not going to. Just move away from the conflict. This training also, for an example, we receive during the month. What happens? Your mouth is fasting, your eyes are fasting, your ears are fasting, your entire body is fasting. It's a form of a training that you receive, that makes you a different human being altogether. End of the month of Ramadan, we expect you to be a new, different human being with a renewed faith, renewed connection with the Lord, and also you are a new human being, an asset to the society. Where you were some time back, you have used to slander people. All these bad habits are now gone. So each Ramadan we encounter, we undergo all this training over and over and again. So each time we undergo this, it makes us our degree of piety more and more becoming closer to the God. In this month we do a lot of recitation of the Holy Quran. We try to understand the Holy Quran. So all this makes our more closer to the God and become more and more pious person. A more and more pious person, what happens, is an asset to the society. This is what the God expects everyone of us from the Ramadan. Hope I am very clear. And in the meantime, if we say, I just want one step more, even when we, in the mornings, when we, api Consul samadhan, but we say, all the, what is it? Musawada veramanya sikkapada samadhyami, kame sumichachara sikkapada samadhyami, adinadana පානාතිපාත මේ ඔක්කොම දේවල් කරන්නේ මොනවාද? අද මිනිස්සෙක් හොඳ යහමකට ගන්න. මේ රමදාන් මාසෙත් ඒකේ කරන්නේ මිනිස්යාට යහමග ඉතා පෙන්වලා මිනිස්යා සහ දෙවියන් වහන්සේ අතර තියෙන බැඳීම තවදුරටත් බැඳීම තවත් ලං කරගන්න තමයි මේ රමදාන් මාසයේ දෙවියන් වහන්සේ අපිට ලබා දීලා තියෙන්නේ.
So as a Muslim country, the UAE celebrates Eid on a large scale. So what are the similarities and the differences between the celebrations back home in Sri Lanka and here in the UAE?
Yeah, basically the celebrations in the UAE is as you said, it's a grander one. Everybody is on holiday and everybody is celebrating Eid, so it's slightly different compared to Sri Lanka. But before going there, the concept of Ramadan or Eid is the same across the globe. Whether you're in UAE or Sri Lanka or anywhere, it is the same. Why we celebrate, how we celebrate, basically it's the same. Because of certain cultural differences, things can change. I like to just take you through what happens in a typical Eid day celebration in Sri Lanka. Now, you'll see us waking up early in the morning, and then we get ready for the for the prayer, like it's a congregation, it's a gathering, prayer in gathering, and then we have something called a charity specific to this particular Eid, and then we have family gathering. We exchange gifts and we meet people. And generally in Sri Lanka, there is this habit of gathering at the, what do you call this, Mahagadara, grandfather or grandmother's house. And children will have their own games, and we also have this habit of giving, we call it Pernal Kasi in Tamil, that is the Eid money. The small fellows will get Eid money, and it's a lot of excitement for children during that time. And also a lot of emphasis on greeting, meeting people, meeting elderly people, visiting elderly people, and also visiting the graveyards. If you have lost your family members, we visit the graveyards. We don't kind of forget them. And especially these Corona days, things have changed a lot for all of us. Many of us have lost our relatives. I myself have lost 2 of my close relatives in the last 3-4 months. So these are moments that we really miss family. So especially when the celebration in Sri Lanka goes around like this, visiting families, the graveyards. What is different compared to there and here is that we don't have the immediate family here. The family is the friends that we know, and also the fellow Sri Lankans. These are the families. So the celebrations are almost similar, but we try and kind of make sure the friends and the Sri Lankans who are here, these are like our extended family. We may not be able to visit graveyards because most of our relatives are buried back in Sri Lanka. But I mean, these days you cannot have a conversation without talking about Corona. Because of Corona, things have changed. Because even through Zoom or something like that, we will find ways to. Even today, Eid day, after this conversation, we will find ways to get hold of our relatives, get hold of our friends and family to make the connection. And earlier we spoke about building relationship, building connections. Eid is important for us. So that is the difference of not having the immediate family with you. The other thing is, on a lighter note, you don't get the typical authentic Sri Lankan some food, you know, like for example, you know, I'm sure someone like Rizwan will miss the dodol, the Sri Lankan dodol in Sri Lanka, and it's like, for example, having this, you know, when you have Chinese food in Sri Lanka, it's much more tastier than having anywhere else, because the Chinese food has got a mixture of Sri Lankan in it, you know. So like that, we miss those kind of authentic, you know, Sri Lankan dishes. These are the main differences. Other than that, fairly the concept of celebration, it remains the same, other than these small differences. The other issue is, of course, in Sri Lanka, it's not a full-blown holiday. You know, if you want to celebrate Eid, you have to take holiday. And then, you know, whether you want to have some tours or trips or anything, it's all, you know, you have to take it out of, it's a holiday. And one of the other things that we miss in Sri Lanka is, you know, the Sri Lankan Eid is also, we do a lot of, we have this non-Muslim Sri Lankan friends that the way we look forward, looking forward for Eid, they also look forward for Eids, because, you know, there are some special Eid items that they all look forward to, you know. We miss kind of having this kind of interaction with the non-Muslim Sri Lankans back at home. That's also a difference. But anyway, like I always say, we have to make do with what we have, you know. Now here, it is the Sri Lankans who are living here, it's our friend circles. We have some small interaction with our embassy here. So the Sri Lankans here are our extended family here. So we'll celebrate Eid with them.
I have one very vivid memory of the Eid in Sri Lanka. One, as Riza said, before the Eid comes, my colleagues in the office will say, "Machang, auru dena ne?" So that means what? They are waiting to eat watlapam. So actually, I am very happy. Those days when you are working in Sri Lanka, entire office, about 10-15 people will come home for lunch. And all will come, all the office, even the boss sometimes used to come sometimes, and we come and they share a meal. So this is what we are missing here. And it's like, so before, I mean, the great spirit we have on that, right, that's something I'd like to mention.
Up next, we have an Eid message from a very special person. He is a Sri Lankan entrepreneur and pioneer who has been living here in the UAE for over 4 decades. Over to you, Mr. Farook Kassim.
Thank you, Lana. Eid Mubarak to all your listeners. I'm Farook Kassim. We are telecasting live from my house in Jumeirah. We say Assalamu Alaikum, which is blessings, greetings of peace and blessings. On Eid Day, this is where we prayed last year because of the pandemic restrictions. We as we are law-abiding residents, we went everything as what the government told us to do. We usually start our day on Eid Day by going to the mosque early morning. Last year we couldn't do that. So this year everything is almost back to normal with social distancing and wearing masks. And the Eid is a special day for all of us, because after fasting for 29 or 30 days, we come back and we finish our fast and we come back to celebrating the Eid. Eid is a joyful occasion for all of us. Our immediate family, and usually on Eid Day we get together. When we are back from prayers, we exchange gifts with the children. Then we invite our very close extended family for lunch. And the day goes on with celebrations throughout the day. Yeah, on a serious note, since we are still in the pandemic time, we should be very careful and have social distancing, wear masks. We should not be hugging each other or shaking hands with each other. We should be all responsible and we should be safe. Usually on Eid days, we go to pray in an open area which is called Eid Musalla. Back home in Sri Lanka also, we used to go to Golfis Green. We used to have a special permission from the military or from the authorities to have prayers there, and every Eid day we used to go there. But since it's almost 46 years I've been out of the country, it is very few years I've been going back for Eid. Usually we have been spending the Eid back in Dubai. My message to you is very clear. Please stay safe. It's better to be at home than go out and get yourself into trouble. I think the pandemic is around and we see the surges going up and down. So please, I again insist on all of you all, this is very important, just as we are all responsible as a community to not to hurt each other. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So be safe and have a lovely evening.
ගත සිත පුබුදු කරන්න ලක්නද රේඩියෝ ලොව පුරා ලක්නද රේඩියෝ
Tambapani, truly Sri Lankan.
With the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus, things have been pretty difficult for many people around the world. And as you did mention, Mr. Muhammad, the corona has changed many things in terms of interactions. When you go back like to your grandparents' house, for example, having that family bond, it's a little different and difficult to have nowadays. So how has the coronavirus affected the Muslim community during the Ramadan period?
Yeah, it is a very pertinent question, but I would answer this question in this way. Say the corona impact has not, it has not impacted not only the Muslim community, but also the entire wider globe at large. As you know, when the pandemic started, it all impacted the daily wage earners, but gradually we have seen, this pandemic has shifting and affecting many sectors of the economy. As we speak, a lot of people who are in the hospitality sector, they are losing jobs. Even high profile jobs such as pilots, they have lost jobs. So it's a very tough time nowadays. This is where the concept of zakat, which is very important. Basically, zakat means the Islamic tax. If we have savings for more than one lunar year, we are supposed to pay 2.5% as tax. So this year, what I have seen is, many sections of the community, they are having much focus to help those who are suffering due to this pandemic. But it's not a easy thing, once we support, it does not mean that we should end that support, because this corona has created the health issues, mental issues, and so many psychological issues. So it's a very long term action plan we should have to help these people. Having said that, unlike before, during this Ramadan, the concept of sympathy and empathy has stressed very much in this pandemic situations. Likewise, while we were having during the month of Ramadan, there were some health guidelines. Unlike previous years, we could not gather in full crowd to the mosque to conduct our prayers. There were restrictions. Even during to celebrate Eid holidays also, we have a lot of restrictions. Like those days we used to gather about 10, 20, 15 families in our house, maybe in the parks to celebrate the Eid festival. But due to the restrictions, it has become a very personal and a private affair, maybe with one or two families the max, because we had to ultimately abide by the guidelines stipulated by the government. And at this in this question, I would also like to cover initiatives such as Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Maktoum's global initiative of feeding 100 million people. And when you talk about the Sri Lankan community, the Sri Lankan Sahan, the Sri Lankan Welfare Association, they did a tremendous job in helping the Sri Lankan needy people in U.A.E. So hats off to those guys. So as I said, I would like to conclude this pandemic did not affect not only the Muslims, but all the communities at large in general. Riza, did I miss anything in this point?
You didn't miss anything, but I think it's also important to just to remind ourselves in terms of rituals, in terms of rituals, what has changed before Corona and after Corona.
Yeah, indeed, like in terms of fasting and the traditions, yeah. Of course.
Yeah, the fasting tradition, has not changed before and after Corona, but the gatherings that we normally have, it is a normal practice to have gatherings for iftars, especially between families and friends. That's not happening now. And after the iftar, there is this night prayers, which is something that we all look forward to. Again, it's when it comes to this both Ramadan and Eid, right? It is prayers, it is some sort of sacrifice. It's also sort of celebration, right? So the evening we have this called the Taraweeh prayers, which we are, thank God that we are doing it in Dubai now with a limited kind of crowd and the time. But this used to be a much larger prayer in the past, but now it is a shorter version, restricted version. But at least thank God we have that, which we didn't have last year. Last year it was completely, we were doing everything at home, but this year we have that. But at this point of time, we also have to feel for our people back at home in Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, at the moment, these are not allowed. Again, I think it's the right thing to do because of the current situation in Sri Lanka. It is better to prevent us getting any further COVID challenges. So therefore, this time in Sri Lanka, it's not. They are not able to practice all the rituals, but they were able to do it last year. So it looks like we are all getting turns to do things in outside and things inside the house. But at the end of the day, I think nothing stops, but it's just that certain things that you did it outside, you're doing it inside the house. but the feeling of not being able to gather as a community, as friends, not able to gather the people who are not Muslims, non-Muslims to this kind of celebrations, that is a bit of a negative side, but it's something that we need to put up with, and we will hope and pray next year will be much better than this year for both Sri Lanka and UAE.
So on a day like this, the holy month of Ramadan concludes with Eid celebrations. So what exactly is the specialty of Eid, and how does the Muslim community celebrate Eid al-Fitr?
Yeah, I just concluded, I just went for my Eid prayers in the morning. As you know, the day starts with that. And soon after this meeting, I will be starting calling my parents, my siblings back home, and calling my friends here in UAE. Just like Riza covered in his previous questions, due to certain health guidelines, we had to restrict our celebrations here. But nevertheless, through whatever best possible way, we would like to enjoy this evening. In the previous question, Riza covered basically the typical Eid celebration, how it takes place in Sri Lanka. I would like to chip in with some areas where he could not cover. See, I remember when we were small, I am from the Malay community. Actually, the Eid celebration starts a few days before the Eid. I remember, visiting my relatives in areas like Putlam, Hambantota. We used to go 1 week before the Eid celebration. All my siblings, my cousins, my relatives, we start, preparing sweets. There's a very famous dish called kaludodol. It takes a lot of time to prepare. So my grandmother, I still remember, she used to give the task for our siblings, my cousins. We had to keep on do that paste for a long time. So it was fun, and we were rewarded for doing that also. So with the advent of commercialism, and we have been so much occupied with our work, unfortunately, we don't see this kind of things happening. Even the Eid meals, those days, many family members, we got together and we cooked at home. But unfortunately, with the busy work schedule, predominantly now it happens to ordering, but through some restaurants or through some other place. But in this country, as Riza suggested, the Sri Lankan Muslim community is a very small population. We know each other, but it will be basically a gathering of friends and relatives here. I'm looking forward to it during the course of the day. But the major one single occasion during Eid is the mega lunch that we will be having together. So it is everybody is looking forward to it, and we would like to invite our non-Muslim friends also to join hands to celebrate Eid this time.
And now, we have the Eid wish of the Consulate General of Dubai and the Northern Emirates, Honorable Nalinda Wijerathna.
Assalamu alaikum. I wish to extend my warmest greetings and best wishes to all my Muslim brothers and sisters living in the U.A.E. and in the whole world who are celebrating Eid al-Fitr. We all are going through a challenging time. This year, its celebrations are slightly different than usual due to this pandemic. So let us all, together with our families, celebrate these special occasions, adhering to health guidelines and safety precautions. I wish you all the best. Eid Mubarak.
ගත සිත පුබුදු කරන්න Laknadha Radio
ලොවපුරා ලක්නද රේඩියෝ
Tambapani, truly Sri Lankan.
When taking into account the population of the world, correct me if I'm wrong, but there are 1.9 billion Muslims around the globe coexisting with people of different faith. So how does the holy month of Ramadan and the Muslim community help better the community through the people of the Islamic faith?
Absolutely. You're right about these 1.9 billion people. It's almost one-fourth of the global population. The other thing about this whole thing is that majority of the Muslims, contrary to popular belief, they live outside the Middle East. About 80% of the Muslims, they live outside the Middle East. So most of the Muslims who are celebrating Eid, they are living with non-Muslims in most of the countries. Now, earlier we spoke about the whole purpose of this prayers, rituals, connection with God, everything. The whole idea is about trying to create a good citizen. That's the whole idea, you know. If you have proper connection with the Almighty God, and if you have proper connection with the human beings around you, you are going to be the best ideal citizen, right? So I think the important thing about this whole thing is about getting people to start believing in the religious values more than religious rules. So the question about how can this the Eid celebrations, Ramadan can impact the world as a whole is a very good one. But I think again earlier we talked about relationships. Now this, if you take our discussions, all the time we are talking about relationships, the relationship with other human beings, your friends or family or people around us, and the relationship with God, right? If you can improve this kind of relationship, God also says, again we spoke about it earlier, that my relationship with the creations of the Creator is very, very important for us. I cannot be fighting with you and then go and sit in a masjid for 24 hours and consider me to be a good man, right? My first responsibility is I need to make amends with you, right? So this is an important thing, you know. As long as people become good human beings, right? As long as people become people who will appreciate and value and implement the religious values, right? This 1.9 billion people, like you said, they can be very good examples to the whole world, and you know they can actually bring in the positive change that we are looking at. Because today the world is a bit complicated place, you know, everybody is into everything. Again, I don't know whether I'm talking about Corona too much. Corona has taught us one lesson. It's not about me being good. We all have to be good. Right? Together. Togetherness is important. So I think, you know, if we can bring in the values of sharing, caring, respect for one another, you know, all this, if we can learn, you know, earlier Mr. Ghouse said it's about educating yourself, it's about correcting yourself. if we can get to some, if we can make some progress, that will be a positive influence in the world. And also the other thing is, this is also an opportunity for us to recognize the poor people, the less fortunate people's, sufferings. I'm sure you may have heard about the fact there are about almost 800 million people in the world who do not get proper food. That's a little more than 10% of the population. So by learning to share throughout this month, these are things that slowly the community can overcome. So I think we need to go back to some basics. For example, how is my relationship with my neighbor? Because in our religion, that we have been told, unless you wish what you are wishing for yourself to your neighbor, you are not part of us. The neighbor is an important integral part of our whole life. I mean, if 1.9 billion people can have another 1.9 billion good neighbors, that in itself, you have sorted out half of the world. So it's about correcting yourself first. Correcting means you're not going to become a saint overnight. Just making some slow progress in your life, and then bringing that positive influence across the others. So I think we have a good opportunity to bring in these values. I think my personal view, many people across many religions focus far too much on rules and regulation rather than focusing on values. All religions are almost emphasizing on the similar values. If we can emphasize on the values, get that into our minds and hearts and actions, and influence positively the others, and I think that is the positive change that we are all looking through Ramadan, Eid, or for that matter any other religious festival. And also the other thing is, it is better if we can universalize these celebrations. Whatever the celebration is, all this religious celebration should be universalized, and we should, and especially Sri Lanka is a good example. We have Buddhists, we have Hindus, we have Muslims, we have various communities. So if we can universalize this, if we can make it like a universal celebration, we celebrate with each other, right, in the spirit of Sri Lankan, in the spirit of brotherhood, I think world is going to be a better place for sure.
Up next on Eid with Laknadha, His Excellency Malraj de Silva, the Ambassador of Sri Lanka to the U.A.E, will grace us with his Eid wishes.
Assalamu alaikum. I like to say Eid Mubarak to all Muslim devotees in Sri Lanka, in United Arab Emirates, and the entire world. It is widely believed that Prophet Muhammad got the first revelation of the Holy Quran during the holy month of Ramadan. Eid al-Fitr, the end of fasting from the dawn to dusk during Ramadan, and the beginning of the Shawwal month. Eid al-Fitr is also celebrated to pay respect to Allah for providing strength and endurance during the month-long fasting rituals. So I like to again say, all the Muslim devotees have a fantastic Eid Mubarak. Thank you.
Kata sita puputu kerana Laknadha Radio.
Lowapura Laknadha Radio.
Tambapani, truly Sri Lankan.
And with that, we have come to the end of our discussion today. Do we have any beautiful Eid messages to give to the rest of the world?
Of course, we thank Laknadha for giving us this opportunity, and we pray to Allah, Almighty Allah, to protect all human beings from this turmoil, pandemic and the turmoil that has created in the world. And our thoughts and prayers are with every one of you, all our fellow human beings, especially all our countrymen back at home. Let us hope for a peaceful Eid the next year. Hopefully, let this turmoil come to an end. Thank you.
Yeah, Eid Mubarak to everybody once again. And again, we have to say that from, I think it is February last year, things have been different in the world. People have been through very, very difficult times. If you ask each and everyone has got a story of somebody losing, or somebody's losing job, or some death in the family. So Ramadan and Eid are times that prayers are very important, and we believe the du'as we call prayers are accepted during this time. So we will continue to make prayers, ask du'as to Almighty to give a lot of relief, to everyone, especially the people here as well as in Sri Lanka. And we wish everybody a good Eid and Eid Mubarak. And hopefully, if you have time, join us for some Eid lunch tomorrow.
My conclusion remarks will be stay safe, but most importantly, as Brother Riza said, a lot of people are having very tough times, but God has given you some blessings. Be thankful for that. If you're thankful for those blessings, God will increase those blessings. So be thankful to all the blessings what you have. It will not be this program will not be complete despite I am being a Malay if I did not speak at least few words in Malay. Saudara saudari dorang samoran selamat Idul Fitri. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Did you say something about Kaludodal there, or just what was it?
No, it was a general wish in Malay saying Idul Fitr. Obviously, Kaludodal is a different topic of discussion. I think we can start with Watalapang, then Kaludodal and some other sweets.
See, to start with, now that Slamath has mentioned about Kaludodal, okay, so we asked the entire crew to stay back because Slamath has arranged one Lokutachiak Kaludodal because he has been working last night, full night. We invite all of you all to taste the Slamath's Nana's Kaludodal. It's a famous in Dubai. Anyone can taste it, and it's a trademark Kaludodal. And going up to Watlapam, it's definitely, I think that's a part and parcel of our menu. So that comes without saying. Watlapam is a part and parcel of the menu. So, but unfortunately, this time you could not get good. But anyway, we have done our best. So let's hope with what we have done our best.
Yeah, that's another thing. No, you spoke about this Hakuru thing. because like any other community, we also have our own kind of differences. The way do things is different because see now he has dressed the way the Malays dress, right? This is how I dress in Kandy, where I come from, Akurana. So it is that there is a belief, you know, if you get proper hakuru, then only the vatlapam is tasty, right? So like you earlier asked about what's the difference, celebration and things like that. Like any other religion, even among Muslims, although the concept is very same, concept is not same exactly the same, there are different ways of doing things, like the way we dress differently, you know. Another thing that I have been told all the time is that if you want to eat real beef, you have to have the beef from Kandy, you know, like that. There are small differences in the way we do things
and the way you approach things.
Yes, yes.
Riza,
And
Kandy means Kandy or Akurana?
they say Akurana, but I don't see any I don't see any you know, anybody who's having this kind of farms in Akurana. But yeah, I mean, you know, things are like in any other group, even among ourselves. If you take 5 Sri Lankan Muslims, you will at least see 3 different ways of them doing things.
Yeah, I think let's try our dodols and batlap samsam and everything what Hafi has and we brought now.
Definitely looking forward to that.
And one more thing I had to say, that is like as Brother Riza said, the ways of celebration sometimes vary from one area to the other. Nuwara patta venas, Colombo patta venas. If you take Gala Matra, it's a completely different way. Manna north mekani Uttaragato evage Nagahingra. So there is subtle differences in the way they celebrate, but doesn't mean that the spirit is the same spirit.
Yeah, why we celebrate and the purpose of celebration remains the same, but each one has got a different style of doing things. And honestly, I think this is something that we have to celebrate, because we have it's a diverse version of celebrations, but the focus and the concept is the same. I think like anything else. But even in Sri Lanka, for example, we have different groups of people, but we need to kind of celebrate the diversity in anything that we do, I think. That's also something that we need to think about.
I want to make another point. This අපි ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා මේගොල්ලන්ට දවසක් නෝම්බි අල්ලලා බලන්න කොහොමද කියලා.
And with that, we would like to thank Mr. Muhammad, Mr. Slamath, and Mr. Ghouse for coming together with Laknadha to have this wonderful conversation today about this wonderful day. And special thanks to Mr. Riza Muhammed for arranging this, giving us your home for this wonderful discussion, this program that we have today. And on that note, on behalf of Laknadha, we would like to wish you all Eid Mubarak. And don't go anywhere, stay tuned on Eid with Laknadha.
ගත සිත පුබුදු කරන්න Laknadha Radio.
Lowapura Laknadha Radio.
Tambapani, truly Sri Lankan.
Coming up next, we have different community groups here in the UAE spreading their wonderful wishes on this holy day of Eid al-Fitr.
අයිබෝවන් අස්ලාම් අලෙකුම් ඊද් මුබාරක් ලෝකවාසී සියලුම ඉස්ලාම් බැතිමතුන් මහත් වූ කැපකිරීමෙන් ගත කළ ශුද්ධ වූ රාමසාන් මාසය අවසන් කරමින් පැවැත්වෙනා වූ මෙම ඊද් අල්-ෆිතර් මංගල්‍යයට ඔබත් සමග එකතු වීමට ලැබීම අපට ඉමහත් සතුටක්. දින 30ක් පුරාවටම නිරන්තරයෙන්ම තම ආගමික ඉගැන්වීම් සිහිපත් කරමින් අධ්‍යාත්මික සුවයක් ලබා ගන්නා අතරම දිවා කාලයේදී නිර්ආහාරව උපවාසයේ යෙදී සිට ප්‍රයෝජනයට නොගත් තම ආහාර කොටස ආහාර නොමැතිව දුකටපත් මිනිසුන් අතර බෙදා දීමෙන් පරිත්‍යාගය පුරුදු කිරීමත් සැබෑ සහෝදරත්වය පැතිරවීමත් මුල් කරගත් මෙම උතුම් වැඩපිළිවෙළ දෙස අප බලා සිටින්නේ මහත් වූ ගෞරවයෙන්. ඉතා නිහතමානීව කිසිම පන්ති ભેදයකින් තොරව එකම ආහාර වේලක් සියලු දෙනාම සතුටින් බෙදා හදාගෙන අනුභව කරමින් දවසේ උපවාසය අවසන් කිරීම දැකීම මොනතරම් සුන්දර දසුනක්ද. මේ උතුම් පිළිවෙත මාසයක් පුරා වැඩීමෙන් අප මුස්ලිම් සහෝදර සහෝදරයන් සහ ඔවුන්ගේ දුවා දරුවන් තම තමන්ගේ සිත් තුළ ඇති කරගත් සතුට මහා ශක්තියක්. එම පුණ්‍ය ශක්තිය ලෝකයේ පුරාම පැතිරී ඇති COVID-19 වසංගතය දුරු කිරීමටත් ලෝකයේ පුරා සාමය පැතිරීමටත් හේතු වේවා. ඔබ සැමට ඉතා ප්‍රීතිමත් අරුත්බර නිරෝගිමත් ඊද් අල්-ෆිතර් මංගල්‍යයක්ම වේවා. ඊද් මුබාරක්. මා සලාමත්. ආයිබෝවන්.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Dinesh Dayalan and I represent the Sri Lankan Tamil community. We have been living in this part of the world for the past 14 years. The entire world is celebrating Eid festival today. I would like to wish all my Muslim friends who are living in U.A.E, Sri Lanka and in the entire world a happy and a prosperous Eid. I would like to introduce my family members Shailesh and Keshika. Keshika.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Keshika. Happy Eid to all my friends around the world.
Shailesh.
Bonjour à tous. Je m'appelle Shailesh. Eid Mubarak à tous mes amis musulmans du monde. Je vous souhaite à tous un merveilleux Eid Mubarak et qu'Allah vous comble de ses bénédictions.
அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். எனது பெயர் தினேஷ் தயாளன். இன்று ஈகை பெருநாளை கொண்டாடும் இவ்வுலகில் வாழும் அனைத்து இஸ்லாமிய நண்பர்களுக்கும் இனிய ஈகை பெருநாள் நல்வாழ்த்துக்களை தெரிவித்துக் கொள்வதில் பெரும் மகிழ்ச்சி அடைகின்றேன். எல்லாம் வல்ல இறைவன் இவ்வுலகில் வாழும் அனைத்து ஜீவராசிகளுக்கும் எல்லா செல்வங்களையும் நல்ல சுகத்தையும் ஆரோக்கியமான வாழ்க்கையும் அளிக்குமாறு இறைவனிடம் பிரார்த்தித்துக் கொள்கின்றேன். The entire world is currently facing a number of challenges due to the current pandemic situation. I wish this Eid festival will bring in prosperity and peace among the entire human in the world. It is an utmost important responsibility to follow the regulations imposed by the governments and health authorities to be safe. As human, it is important for us to be safe and keep others safe. இந்நல்நாளிலே மக்கள் சமூக நலத்தையும் சகோதரத்தையும் இனிய அன்பையும் பரிமாறிக்கொள்ளக்கூடிய பண்பையும் மேலும் பெருக்கிக் கொள்வதற்கு உறுதி எடுத்துக் கொள்வோமாக. நோயற்ற வாழ்வே குறைவற்ற செல்வம் என்று கூறி விடை பெறுகின்றேன். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
සියලු ප්‍රශංසාවත් ගෞරවයත් මහිමයත් සර්වබලධාරී අල්ලා දෙවියන් වහන්සේට අත්වේවා. එක්සත් අරාබි එමීර් රාජ්‍ය ඇතුළුව සමස්ත ලෝකවාසී ඉස්ලාමික බැතිමතුන්ගේ අර්ථවත් වූත් අධ්‍යාත්මික වූත් උත්තරීතර වූත් නිරාහාර ශීලයේ සහ උපවාසයේ කාල පරිච්ඡේදයක් වූ රාමදාන් කාලය අවසන් කරමින් ඊද් අල් ෆිටර් ඉස්ලාමික ශව්වාල් මාසයේ ආරම්භය සනිටුහන් කරමින් උදා වුණා වූ ඊද් මංගල්‍ය වෙනුවෙන් ඊද් මුබාරක් ප්‍රීතිමත් මංගල්‍යයක් වේවා කියා මා ඉතසිතින් ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා. ඔබ දන්නා තරමින් උදා වූ මේ ශුද්ධ වූ කාල පරිච්ඡේදය වන රාමදාන් හා ශව්වාල් මංගල්‍ය කාලය තුල ඉස්ලාමික බැතිමතුන් අල්ලාහ් දෙවියන් වහන්සේට තව තවත් සමීප වීමටත් පාපෙන් දුරස්ත වීමටත් දෙවියන් වහන්සේට ප්‍රශංසාව මහිමය දැක්වීමේ සලාත් යාඥාව යදිමින් ලොව පුරා සිටින සෑම කෙනෙකුටම සමාව, දයාව, සාමය සහ සංහිඳියාව ඉල්ලමින් රකාත් පිළිවෙත යදිමින් පසුගිය වසර පුරා තිබූ අසමගිය විරසකය අමතක කර දමා සමාව දෙමින් දුගී දුප්පතුන් හට ආධාර උපකාර වන සගාත් වැනි පරිත්‍යාග කරමින් අන් අයට කරුණාව, දයාව, ආදරය කිරීමට ප්‍රයත්න දරමින් ජීවිතයේ අති උසස් වූ අධ්‍යාත්මික අත්දැකීම් ලබා ගැනීමට ගත් කාල පරිච්ඡේදයක් වුණා. ඉතින් මේ මොහොත මා අවස්ථාවක් කරගන්නවා එක්සත් අරාබි එමිරාජ්‍ය ඇතුළුව සමස්ත ලෝකවාසී ඉස්ලාමික බැතිමතුන් හට අද දින සුබ පතන්නට. විශේෂයෙන් ශ්‍රී ලාංකික කතෝලිකයන් වශයෙන් එක්සත් අරාබි එමිරාජ්‍යයේ වෙසෙන සමස්ත කතෝලික ප්‍රජාව සමග සතුටෙන් සාමයෙන් පිරි සුබම සුබ ඊද් මංගල්‍යයක් වේවා කියා මා ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා. ඒ වගේම කවදත් අපත් සමග අත්වල් බැඳ අපට නිතරම සමීපයෙන් සිටින ලක්නද ජාත්‍යන්තර රේඩියෝ විකාශනයටත් මා ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම පවතිනා වූ මේ වසංගත තත්ත්වය තුළ ඒ අවශ්‍ය කරන සෞඛ්‍ය නීති රීති සියල්ලට අනුගත වෙමින් ඔබගේ සතුට ප්‍රීතිය භුක්ති විඳිනුවෙන් ඉල්ලා සිටින මම රංජන් ඩිමෙල් ඩුබයි සිට ස්තුතියි.
And on that note, we have come to the end of our program, Eid with Laknadha. I would like to thank you all for joining us today and staying tuned throughout the entire show. And please do stay safe during this pandemic. Make sure that you're washing your hands, wearing your masks, maintaining social distancing, and having a blast with your families and your friends as well. And to end the show, we have a few beautiful, beautiful messages, Eid wishes from children from all around the world. Ma salam.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to all of y'all around the world. I wish you a very wonderful and joyous Eid. May the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fill your life with happiness, joy and peace. Don't forget to stay safe during this pandemic. Eid Mubarak from me, Aisha, here in U.A.E.
On this holy festival, wishing you lots of laughter and happy moments. Eid Mubarak from my family to yours.
May Allah open all the doors to happiness and prosperity. Eid Mubarak to you and your family. Eid Mubarak to you and your family. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Jamila Rushdie and I live in Canada, BC. Eid Mubarak to you all. I know that Ramadan was quite a bit different this year because of the coronavirus. But for me, it was just as rewarding. I hope that everyone also got the chance to spend time with their family and pray and give charity. No matter what, Eid will always be a fun event because you can get closer with Allah and your family. I hope everyone is having a blast and I am wishing you all a great, great Eid.
அருள் மணக்கும் நோன்பு பெருநாள் வாழ்த்துக்கள். நான் ஃபாத்திமா இஸ்லா.
நான் சையத் யாத்.
கொரோனாவில் இருந்து எங்களை பாதுகாத்துக்கொள்ள சுகாதார விதிமுறைகளை பேணி நடந்து கொள்வோம். சுகமாக வாழுவோம்.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Seppe nama Nainas Fakirali Saja Sena Idopang Sri Lanka Melayu Kupulang Nas Selamat Hari Raya Puasa. Selamat.
Brothers and sisters, friends and family, Eid Mubarak to you all. From the bottom of my heart, I pray that the Almighty makes our lives beautiful and our struggles meaningful. Eid Mubarak to you all. Taqabbalallahu minha wa minkum.
May this beautiful occasion of Eid give you all the reasons for you to make your life even more beautiful. Wishing you a happy Eid day. Happy Eid Mubarak. Taqabbalallahu minha wa minkum. I'm Riza Muhammed.
And I'm Khadija Mushtaq.
We are from Dubai.
Stay safe and have a nice day with your family.
සියලුම ඉස්ලාම් ලෝකවාසීන්ට ප්‍රීතිමත් රමදාන් උත්සවයක් වේවා. මෙවර රමදාන් උත්සවය අපි ගෙදර සිට සමරමු.
ආයුබෝවන්. මම රන්කි මනුල්යාද සිල්වා. උදාවන ඊද් අල් ෆිතර් උත්සවය සමරන මගේ සියලුම යහළුවන්ටත් ලංකාවේ සියලුම මුස්ලිම් ජනතාවටත් උණුසුම් සුබ පැතුම් එක් කරන්න මේ අවස්ථාවක් කරගන්නවා. ලෝකයේ පැතිරෙන කොරෝනා වසංගතය එක්ක ඔබ සැම ඉතා පහසුවෙන් මෙම උත්සවය ලැහැස්ති වුවත් ඔබ සැම සෞඛ්‍ය උපදෙස් පිළිපදිමින් ඊද් උත්සවය සමරුණු ඇතැයි මම ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා. ඔබ සැමට වාසනාවන්ත ඊද් උත්සවයක් වේවා. බොහොම ස්තුතියි. ඊද් මුබාරක්.
අස්සලාමලයිකුම්. ලැබුවා වූ මේම ඊද් අල් ෆිතර් උත්සවය ඔබ සමග සතුටින් සහ සාමයන් පිරුණු එකක් වේවා. අපි සියලු දෙනාම ආගම් ජාති ભેදයකින් තොරව රමදාන් සඳ බලන්න එක්වෙමු. ඔබ සමට ජේසු පීටයි. මම ටිෂාන් සිල්වා.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Saida. Happy day, Eid Mubarak. I wish you all my friends, all Sri Lankas, and wish you luck and good Eid Mubarak. Assalamu alaikum. Thumbs up face. My name is Ayub Shyam.
My name is Muhammad Yahya Shyam.
Assalamualaikum everyone. Eid al-Fitr is the Eid that we celebrate after the blessed month Ramadan. We all wear new clothes and go to the masjid with our family. On Eid, we get to meet our family and friends. Celebrate Eid after fasting for whole month, and we have our favorite food and favorite sweets. Also in Eid, we must help the needy children. So have a best Eid. Eid Mubarak everyone. I love you all. Bye.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Maaz Altaf Hamza and I live in Dubai. Eid is the day of celebration after the blessed month of Ramadan. I love Eid because we have a lot of fun, we all get to wear new clothes, and I get money too. I wish everyone a joyful, safe Eid.
Assalamu alaikum, my dear sisters and brothers. I am Fatima Siraj from Dubai. Eid is a day to cheer and laugh with all your heart. It's a day to be grateful to Allah for all of His heavenly blessings on us. Wishing you a happy Eid on 2021.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Mariam Siraj. I live in Dubai. Well, I wish you and your family a very joyful Eid. May Allah accept all your prayers and forgive all our faults. Eid Mubarak.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Faz. I want to wish all the Muslims around the world Eid Mubarak. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless everyone with happiness around the world. Ameen.
I'm Fatima Amina Saif from Dubai. After a long month of fasting, Eid is finally here, and in Eid you should pray, do sadaqah, visit your grandparents and aunties and uncles. But because of the coronavirus, you shouldn't go out too much. You should stay inside. But I am so excited to celebrate Eid with my family. Eid Mubarak to you all.
Kata sita puputu kerana Laknadha Radio.
Lowapura Laknadha Radio.
Tambapani, truly Sri Lankan.